Brad, product specialist here at Kinsey, and today we're going to walk through the new 5000 series row unit. Kind of going to start at the front, work our way back and down as we go into attachments, options, and some of the enhancements we've made on this new unit compared to previous generation rows. We kind of really start at the front, really right where it attaches to the toolbar itself, the faceplate, kind of the meat and potatoes of holding that row unit to the toolbar and frame. We've increased the thickness of our faceplate as well as the reinforcement ears, again, just to give it that durability, especially as we look at higher speeds and, of course, utilizing our true depth hydraulic downforce. As we move back along the row unit and we get into the parallel arms themselves, very similar to our 05 series row units, which are previous generations, we're utilizing dual bushing parallel arms. Inside the parallel arm, you have a single pressed in bushing into the arm itself, and then another bushing on the inside, kind of as the major wear point. The beauty of that, number one, as it wears, you can just replace the single bushing on the inside, or if it gets to the point where we're wearing through that pressed in bushing, it's a matter of pressing out that bushing, putting a new set of bushings in, and you have a brand new set of parallel arms without ever having to replace the actual arm itself. Some other enhancements with the parallel arms is we've gone to a fully cast, more box style of lower parallel arm, again, to increase that durability of the row unit itself, and of course, increase the ease of upgrade paths down the road. Of course, this row unit is available with both pneumatic down pressure and our true depth hydraulic downforce. If you're not ready to make that jump into true depth, it's easily to upgrade from pneumatic down pressure because of the integrated mounting locations all built into the row unit by default. If we kind of work our way back into the main row unit, probably the biggest thing you realize is the styling is very unique and new for this style of row unit. It's perfectly styled to make look better going through the field, more contoured, more sleek design. This row unit supports both true rate and true speed equipped planters, so both meter options you can get in this row unit. It is electric drive only as far as drive systems go. So it's electric drive only, true rate, true speed, and really we're redesigned with that in mind to keep everything nice, neat, and out of the way with both of those meter options. We added some ergonomic items as far as utilizing this new mini hopper lid. Of course, at the very top, similar to our 05 series, we still have a swivel connector, but it's a lot more sleek, it's more small, and it also pivots not only front to back with the lid as it swivels forward and back, but it also has the hose to swivel separately. So there's no worry of the hose getting tangled and decoupling the hose. It's purely a quarter turn just like before, but again, a double swivel. Swivel where it connects, swivel the hose individually. So really allows ease of use, better durability on the row unit over the longer term. We look at the mini hopper lid itself, similar again to our 05 series True Speed. We have a little slot or what we call a plot location to put a plot bag inside to plant seed plots as you're out in the field, so that still exists in the row unit. The other big item though is you can see there's no mechanical latches in the back of this mini hopper like previous generation row units. Really cleaned up the back of it. There's a large latch back here that you simply pull, rotate, and like before, we utilize kind of a kickstand design, but all of that is integrated into these new styled side panels on the row unit itself. So as we flip the mini hopper up, it holds our meter horizontal so we can easily access it, take it apart, change crops, all those type of things without the fear of losing any seed out of the meter. Underneath the cover, again, adding some ergonomics and simplicity is all of our bulk fill caps and vacuum plugs. So if you need to plant seed corn and not send seed to this row, you're planting plots, etc., all of the caps stay stored underneath the mini hopper cover so you always know where they are and they're always accessible to you as you're changing crops or changing conditions in the field. Again, the kickstand's built into the side panels itself. Inside the side panels are specifically made railways for all of our options and wiring communication. So As we talk about options as we get into here, both fertilizer, of course, Yetter adjustable row cleaners, again, continuing on from our 05 series offering, all have specific locations to, again, keep things out of harm's way and, of course, keep that uptime and productivity going. The other thing we've done, too, is really commonize the harness layouts for both true rate and true speed. Of course, the row unit we're looking at here is a true speed meter configuration, but it does give you that flexibility down the road. If you're looking for a new planter and you're looking for a standard true rate meter, really looks identical from a fit, form, and function standpoint, but down the road you want to upgrade to true speed. It's a simple changeover because all of the mechanical pieces, harness runs, etc. are the same between both meters. So really provide an easy upgrade path down the road. Again, the kickstand's built in. Plastic holds it in, and in order to close the lid, simply pick up the lid, rotate it down into its location. And again, without that mechanical lip, you just simply tap on the top and it latches that meter assembly into the row unit. As we work our way kind of down, we got through our mini hopper and our ease of vacuum hoses, etc. We really start at the front and kind of work our way back through the row unit. We talked about the Yetter optional air adjust row cleaners. So again, we still offer our standard no-till Coulter offerings. Of course, the Yetter option, this is of course just the faceplate mounted style, or the Coulter combos we offer as well. Again, all of the air adjust feature is built into the Blue Vantage display. So again, all these controls built into the display in the tractor cab. As we work our way back in the row unit, all right, we start and get really into, again, more meat and potatoes of what's doing the work in the ground as you're driving through the field. Of course, our double disc opener blades, just like our 05 series, are double bearing disc opener blades, so double row bearing blades. We have that center cast machine center hub with larger diameter rivets to really hold that bearing and cap onto the blade, again, just for increased durability and longevity of the blade itself. Of course, you notice that this row unit has spoked gauge wheels on, and really with the 5000 series, we're focused on adding a lot of features as really a standard in the row unit. So on all 5000 series row units, spoke gauge wheels are standard equipment. That's how it comes directly from the factory. You'll also notice we have a factory installed gauge wheels mud scraper. Again, factory installed standard equipment. It's not an option. You get it. It's kind of part of the base machine. The big change though, when we talk about maintenance and making it easy, some of the ergonomic and plug items we talked on the top of the row unit, we get right into the maintenance items of the row unit. And of course, the biggest one in a daily maintenance piece is of course greasing your gauge wheel arm. With the 5000 series, it is a greaseless gauge wheel design, so no grease points. We're utilizing fiber bushings inside of this gauge wheel arm to, again, not need to grease on a daily basis. We've also introduced a shimless gauge wheel arm design. So when you're adjusting the gauge wheel tension or the ability to shim it in or shim it out closer to the outside of those disc opener blades, previously you had to take that arm off. Now it is purely a shimless design. You can see the large retaining nut on the outside, which of course adjusts this gauge wheel arm. So how do we adjust it? Annually, as we're checking our tolerances between that wheel and the outside of the disc opener blade. Really just need a small needle nose pliers. There's a double spiral clip in here that we can really rotate, pull it out. You're going to take this pin out of the mix, and then you simply rotate this nut in or out to adjust the tightness of your gauge wheel to the outside of the disc opener blade. The beauty of the design, both this gauge wheel shaft is larger in diameter, so it gives us more surface area for longer wear life, well over double the wear life of the current gauge wheel arm without the need to grease it. And then you have, of course, your large nut on the outside, which is a fine threaded or on a fine threaded shaft. The beauty of that fine thread and the flats that are on this nut is when you turn it one flat, it's approximately the thickness of a shim that you would adjust in or out. As we take this gauge wheel arm off, you simply rotate this nut, and you can see it's going to push, or in this case, pull that gauge wheel completely off of the shaft. So as we pull this guy out, we're going to rotate it all the way off of the shaft. Once we get the gauge wheel arm off of the row unit, you can see again the large size of the shaft itself. We talked about that fiber bushing on the inside. If we look at what is all inside the gauge wheel arm to achieve the adjustment we're talking about, we have a cutaway where you can see the nut on the outside. Okay, we can have our pin that again retains that nut. The nut again has a big shoulder that sits inside this gauge wheel arm. You have seals or poly wear pads on each side of this nut, so again it's resistant to any fertilizer damage or fertilizer spray that gets on this nut. Allows it to always be adjustable. As we work our way inside, of course we have the larger diameter shaft, which of course what the arm pivots on. We then have a seal, the fiber bushing, and then another seal to help keep dirt, debris, etc. out of the mix. So again, this is our gauge wheel shaft. This is retained inside the row unit itself. It's a threaded shaft, so it threads into, again, the cast iron 5000 series row unit. Your bushing, of course, is your wear point. Again, well over double the wear life of the current designed bushing with grease. Again, no grease on this guy. And as we rotate this pin or this nut, if I screw this out, this shoulder goes out on the threads and of course pulls that gauge wheel all the way out. Okay, so kind of a inside look of what's going on inside. Again, a full fiber Teflon bushing inside of there to again well over double the life expectancy of the gauge wheel arm. Of course, over time you get tens of thousands of acres on that row unit and you need to replace the bushing. Very similar to our current design, you're going to press out your seals, bushings, press in a new set of seals and bushings, and you're ready to go in the field. So really take a lot of the maintenance and headache about adjusting gauge wheel arms with this new style nut and shoulder design on the 5000 series row unit. The other thing we've done as well is increase the thickness of the pocket on the gauge wheel arm. So again, increase in the durability of this. Of course, this is what's getting set or what is adjusted to set your row unit depth. So a lot of wear on these guys. We've increased the thickness of them as well, again, to give them longer life. As we work inside that gauge wheel arm, we have changed to spring-loaded outer scrapers. All right, so they're now spring-loaded. Again, keeping that consistent tension on the double disc openers for easy cleanliness, help keep dirt debris from building up on the outside. It is also a double thick, different material for the outer scraper as well, again, to just give it that longer life. So well over double the wear life of the current generation outer scraper. Spring loaded, so there's no hardware keeping it in. So there's a spring inside, simply unclip the spring and those outside scrapers will come off. We then get, of course, to the double disc opener we touched on earlier. Again, a double roll bearing style of bearing in the disc opener blade. It is set in a machined hub for, again, longevity, durability, and of course, more straightness for long term. Let's take off that outer scraper and the disc blade and see what's inside as we talk about inner scraper and fertilizer delivery as well. Now that we've disassembled and taken off our disc opener blade, just wanted to show you what the spring-loaded scrapers look like. Again, a large torsion spring on the inside to help keep consistent contact, double thickness and different material style of outer scrapers, again, just to give it that longer life and low maintenance that we're going with on the 5000 series row unit. If we look inside, now that we have the disc opener blade removed, a couple, again, unique items that make daily maintenance or annual maintenance easy to identify and know what to change. The first part is your disc opener blade, of course, is sitting on the side. You can see this casting indentation right inside. The beauty of this indentation, normally your disc opener blade is going to be more up here in this upper part. As it wears and it gets down to that 14.5 inch recommended replacement range, really you can easily look, if you see or can see this top cavity in that casting, your disc opener blade is ready to replace. So it's easy to see, you don't have to disassemble and measure it. If you can see that cavity, it's time to replace. As we work our way inside, we talked about the spring-loaded outer scrapers. We talk about the inner scraper or the seed tube guard. Of course, this one's equipped with true speed meter. So this scraper is unique to high-speed metering. Has the tungsten carbide pads on the outside, and then of course the little foot underneath to help protect the bottom of the delivery tube. You can see there's no bolts or retainment inside. To simply replace this, whether it's a true rate or true speed inner seed tube guard, you simply rotate this 90 degrees, remove it, place the new one in, rotate it down, and you're ready to go. So no bolts or hardware holding that inner scraper in. We kind of work our way back. You can see, of course, our in-furrow drop tube for our fertilizer system. Again, a factory option installed here that drops the seed behind the delivery tube right in the seed trench on top of the seed itself. We work our way back. We kind of went through our gauge wheel already. We get to the closing wheel arms. You can see we now offer pneumatic down pressure closing wheel arms as a factory option. Again, keeping consistent with all of the features on Blue Drive equipped planters. No difference on the 5000 series. All of our closing wheel pressures are controlled through the Blue Vantage display. So again, no additional controllers, all built into one easy to use display. We took it one step farther when we looked at adding pneumatic down pressure. Of course, you can still get standard mechanical adjust lever style closing wheels. We still offer that. This one's an option. But how do we make it easy for you to check how the row unit is performing in the field? And we've done that by really providing a quick lockup closing wheel tail as a whole. So up here in the front is a retainer pin, and similar to the gauge wheel arm, you have a small needle nose pliers. You can simply pull the retaining clip that holds it in there. Again, it's a double wound style of retaining pin, so it stays in there even in no-till and high residue situations. You can simply push out that pin and then rotate this entire assembly up and lock it up out of the way so you can really see that seed trench. Because it's locked up out of the way, you can see your seed trench to do infield checks, provide section control adjustments to see how the planter is turning on and off. But more importantly, you don't have to change your down pressure settings for your closing wheels. Again, no matter if it's a mechanical adjust spring style or a pneumatic style like this row unit has, you can rotate all those up, rotate them all the way down, and never have to change your downforce setting. So it makes it super easy to make a quick check to make sure that that row unit's performing the way it should, or make adjustments as you see fit. The beauty is, after you've seen and verified what's going on in the dirt, as soon as you raise it up, pull the pin out, rotate it down, put your pin back in, put your clip back in, and you're ready to go back to planting. So again, make it easy on you in the field to make these adjustments. Of course, this arm on our pneumatic is a full cast arm, again for durability, and still keeping with our bushing and a bushing style design for our closing wheel arms. So we're never wearing on the closing wheel arm itself, we're always wearing on a set of bushing. So as those closing wheel arms wear, we just simply replace the bushing instead of having to add aftermarket items or replace the arm itself. We can just replace the bushing, again, making it for a lower cost solution as you get those tens of thousands of acres on over several years of use. Behind me to the right, you see we do offer insecticide as an option as well for those guys that want to run or need to run insecticide. Again, on one or all rows, the 5000 series row unit will support insecticide as an option as well. On the back side, without that mechanical latch, we do still have molded in, of course, our manual run button. So the red button on the back just like we've had since we introduced electric drive in 2014. That manual run button really runs everything on the row unit, so you can see how the meter's performing if you were working on it and putting it back together, making sure your fertilizer valve opens, any of those items, because this red button will run everything on the row unit to ensure ready to go before you head back up to the tractor cab and start planting. 5000 series, can kind of wrap up what is a 5000 series row unit. It is a bulk fill only, electric drive, true rate or true speed meter equipped row unit that has a lot of good standard features with spoke gauge wheels scrapers, the ability to put pneumatic closing wheels on it, or pneumatic air adjust row cleaners, all controlled through the Blue Vantage display. For more information, visit Kinsey.com or please see your local Kinsey dealer.